restricting trade is generally speaking not a good thing. I can certainly understand why action's been taken against China on various fronts, but if it spreads, I worry about a trade war.
Yeah, and that can happen. Then the question you have to ask is, who has the leverage? If they go against China, China right now is fabricating an increase in their stock market, but it's fake, the way they're doing it right now. Okay, well, we had the biggest day of all time. It's fake, it's not real. Their economy is not doing great, okay, where people are like, oh, we're doing it for now. We're having so many new babies, and no, they're in a bad place. Now, China, Apple decides to take 25% of their iPhones and produce them in India. Okay, so they go to India and they realize, phones made in China are better than phones made in India. India is not ready yet. India doesn't have the infrastructure yet. That's problematic. For who? Tim Cook. Who else? Others. Because if Apple, it's a $3 trillion company, leaves 25% of their phones to go make it in India and they fail, what does that say to everybody else? Hey, China, can we please bring back the other 25%? Well, now it's going to be 20% more. Oh, shit, we were hoping you can do it. No, we can't, right? So now let's go to the other side on where you're going. I'm going to add a 50% tariff, 100, 200, 300, 500. You're playing with fire. Why is that? Here's why. Okay, so this phone costs $1,100 to $1,200 to buy in America. This is an iPhone, okay? $1,100 to $1,200 to buy it in America, but this phone is made in China, okay? Recently, you can find a couple phones that say made in US, made in India, but this one is made in China, okay? If this said made in US, you know how much this phone would be? $2,500.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if you do that. I can pay $2,500, but go to the average person.
Yeah.
So how many average Americans can spend $2,500 on a phone versus $1,200? What do you think the number is? How many customers do they lose? 20%, 30%, 50%? Now, I'm just talking phone. Let's go to the MacBook or the iPad. To make it in America, that $900 iPad is now $1,600. How about the MacBook Pro, $3,000 computer made in China? Made in America, $5,500. I mean, if we go to fridge, TV, so now the median income in America, you're like, well, I'm only making $59,000 a year. Is my income going to go up 80%? No, we can't afford that. Then I can't afford to buy all. So that is the slippery slope that if you do tariffs.
It's at the heart of the
I agree.
Terrible dilemma.
And that is the part about the protectionist, like that Vivek made a great argument about this, that we have to be I'm okay with using tariffs in the following way. I'm interested in using tariffs as a form of a threat for 30, 60, 90 days. It won't work if you're going to do it 4 years. It's just not going to work. I think it's going to be problematic. I think you have to sit there and say, who do we want to be part of? Now, if you got China that goes and builds a car campus, Hafusan company in Mexico, and now, I don't know if you saw these numbers, which is very interesting. Do you know labor now is cheaper in Mexico than China?
I did see those numbers.
By 50 cents an hour. So imagine you're a Chinese company, you're like, why don't we build a facility there? We have tariffs. But if I get cars shipped to US from Mexico, I'll avoid the $7,500. Yeah, let's go build it in Mexico. Big plant called Hafusan, the company, they're going to go there. And they just build this car, this EV car. I don't know what it's called. It's called letter B, that they have Chinese cars, $10,000 Chinese cars. I'm going to give the name. Chinese EV, $10,000. Is called BYD.
Yeah, build your dream.
Build your dream.
Yeah.
$9,600 EV. Bring that to US. What does that do to Tesla? If you got a $9,600 EV. So there are parts that I think Musk is probably going to support Trump putting a 200% tariff on BYD. I can see why he would do that. But then Musk has to also be careful the fact that China doesn't put the tariffs on Teslas that he's selling there. It's going to be a slippery slope. You have to be very careful with tariffs. It's not as like black and white. You're going to get this much. I don't care.
No, it's actually extremely difficult.
I totally agree. I agree.
We all understand the point that J.D. Vance is making. You've done damage, immense damage to innocent bystanders. A lot of people in America who had jobs in a previous age that don't have jobs now, or at worst, if they do have a job, they're not seeing their incomes keep up with the cost of living. Tariffs will make that worse if you do it clumsily.